So yesterday I introduced you guys to percent proportion, to the proportion that we're going to be using to find either percents or parts or totals or whatever it is that you're looking for. And that's what we're going to learn about today. Yesterday was an introduction. Today we're going to actually go deep into how you're going to set it up and how you're going to use it to find what you're looking for. Now, the percent proportion compares a number to 100. You know that one of the ratios in this proportion is going to be percent over 100 because we learned that from FDP, fraction decimals percents. We know that the percent, if you want to turn it into a ratio or into a fraction, you always put it over 100. And then the other ratio of this proportion is going to be the part over the total. So let's put this into practice, okay? Because it's different just looking at it than to actually working on it. So what we're going to do, I have my blank proportion here, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to place the percent on top because that's what the proportion tells me to do. And then underneath the percent, I'm going to place 100 because, again, that's what the proportion tells me to do. Now, on the right side, part goes on top and total goes on the bottom. But today I'm going to introduce you to how we're going to read this. So I'm going to add two little keywords on the bottom of this because they're going to come in handy whenever you guys are working on these proportions. So let me explain what I'm talking about. In this problem, you're looking for the percent, okay? Since you don't have the percent, that tells me that the percent is X because that's what we're looking for. So in my proportion, the X is going to go where the percent is. Okay, so in this case, we're going to put X over 100 because we're looking for the percent. Okay. Now, we see that X percent of $2, this little keyword right here, of, tells you that the 2 is the total. So $2 is the total that we want. And then whenever we have an equal sign like this, we usually read it is equal to. Okay. And again, we find the keyword is, which tells me that the dollar is the part. So $1 goes on top. And how do we read this? We read it the same as this. So X percent is part of the total. So these two keywords or these two keyword phrases can be used to find what number we're going to put where. In this case, the dollar was a part and the $2 is a total. So again, we already know how to solve proportions, and that's by cross multiplying and dividing. So 100 times 1 is 100, and 100 divided by 2 means that it's 50. So your answer is going to be 50%. So that's fine. So here, we're going to put 50, which makes sense because if we actually read it, it says 50% of $2 is $1, which is true because $1 is half of 2, okay? So let me use another one. So 50%. This one is also the same one. Let me go to another one. Okay, here's another one.
Miss, what happens if it gives you the percentage?
Okay, so very good question. I'm going to get to one right now. But very good question, Eric. Very good. Now, this one is written differently, okay? But we're going to use the same proportion. Percent over 100 is part of the total. So $13 is what percent of $26? So we're looking for the percent, which means X is going to go up here again because we don't have the percent. And then 13 means that 13, the keyword is, which means that 13 is going to be the part. And $26 is going to be the total. So again, cross multiply and divide. Or you can also see that 13 is actually half of 26, and we can understand that 13 is 50% of $26. Whenever you guys have the box right here, you have to write the percent. You have to type it in, because if not, it will mark it wrong. So then I'm going to skip a level. I'm trying to look for one that doesn't have the percent, because that's actually a very good question. That was the next thing that I was going to explain. I don't want the challenge zone yet because, well, that's not a challenge zone. Okay, let's do one more. Okay, so what percent of 50 is 40? So again, we don't have the percent, so the X is going to go where the percent should be. Of 50 should be the total, so 50 is a total, is equal to 40. So the 40 is the part. Cross multiply. 40 times 100, we get 4,000, because remember, whenever we're multiplying, all we're doing is we're adding the zeros at the end, okay? And then we divide by 50, but we can get rid of 1 0 to make it easier to work with. So 5 goes into 48 times. That's a perfect division, so we don't have a remainder, which makes it 80. So 80%. So 80% of 50 is equal to 40. Let me erase this real quick. Come on. Okay, let me look for one that doesn't have a percent. I mean, that has the percent. Hold on. There, perfect, perfect. Here we are. So again, this proportion is going to be of extreme importance for you guys to know. Super important, okay? In this particular question, we have 40%. So, to Eric's question, whenever we have the percent, the 40 goes on top of 100. So the X won't go here. So it is extremely important for you guys to understand where it is that you're going to place the X. Because if you don't place the X in the correct place, you're going to get it wrong. In this case, the X is right here, because that's the blank. And the blank is right next to of, which means that you're looking for the total. So X goes underneath. Is equal to 8. 8 is the part. And then we take it away. Johnny Canales, take it away. You guys are way too young to know what that means. 100 times 8 means 800. And you divide by 40. But again, don't be played by zeros. I know that they're going to do this on purpose on some tests. So you guys have to remember that you guys can take them away so that it's easier to work with them. So 4 goes into 8 twice. Again, that's a perfect division. We have no remainders, but we can't forget about bringing the 0 up here, which means that our answer is 20. But in this case, it doesn't mean that it's 20%, because remember, we were just looking for the total. So in this case, what they want to know is that 40% of 20 is equal to 8. Okay? So go ahead and work on your classwork. We're going to do it together. I will be monitoring